introduce our next speaker. His name is Patrice Marcil. He's a Learning Development Director at Axalta Coding Systems. Really looking forward to what you have to say. Come on up. Give him a round of applause here.
Thanks. Good afternoon. Okay, so the presentation is entitled the Education Industry Connection. That's a follow-up to the presentation that I did in Montreal at the previous CCIF. The difference is that the title was the industry, school, education industry disconnect. So we kind of changed it to a more positive twist here, going with the connection instead of the disconnect. But before I go in there, before I start doing the presentation, I'm just going to take a minute to introduce myself a little bit more for those of you who don't know me. I was born and raised in Joliette, which is 30 minutes northeast of the island of Montreal. So I've lived there for many years. My father had a collision shop, and this is where I started. So went to school, went to high school, graduated with a degree in mechanics, because I said, well, why should I learn auto body if my father is there? I've been working there already for a while, but I got my auto body certificate after that. But started working with my father, and when I was just getting ready to buy the business, I got an offer to become a teacher. So the local school board offered me a job as a teacher. Okay, well, that's interesting. So I did it for a year. I did 3 days working at the shop, my father, and I did 3 days as an instructor. And then after a year, decided to let's be an instructor. So went back to school. I got my a degree in adult education, and I was a collision repair instructor for 10 years, up until 2000, when after 10 years of teaching, which is quite an interesting job, by the way. That's a very demanding but also very rewarding job. I caught myself saying the same joke twice at 2 different groups in 2 different years. So the exact same joke. So I prepped the room, and I told the joke, and they laughed the same way they laughed the year before. So I told myself, okay, great. Are you going to tell the same joke next year too? So I said, maybe you're getting old here. Maybe you should think about doing something else. And that's exactly what I did. So I started working with with DuPont at the time. It was the Oval Company, and that was in 2000 up to now. So I started as the instructor for Eastern Canada, and right now I'm taking care of training for Axalta Coding Systems for North America. So a little bit of background. Always been involved with ICAR as well. So I was an instructor for ICAR. I was taking care of the board for ICAR in Quebec for many years, involved in skills event too. So yeah, that's a little bit of me. So I think that's the one here. Okay. So a little recap of that's basically a 3-in-1 that you see here, which is called 3 slides that I put together. So it's the information that I shared while I was in Montreal. Obviously, we all know that the industry has changed. We keep saying that, but sometimes looking at some numbers is always something that's pretty revealing. So the number of collision centers from 2000 to 2015, and the data that you see there comes from, in 2000 there was an industry analysis that was done by KPMG, and I used this one as a benchmark, and then I used the 2015 yearbook that came out from the AIA. So this is where the information is coming from, by the way. So the number of shops has decreased by 40%, and I guess that makes sense that the number of workers has also decreased by 43%. Okay, while the industry pretty much stayed flat from a business perspective. from a sales perspective. Consolidation is kind of reaching maturity. If there is some, somewhere where it's going to stop, but we are at over 65% to closing now probably at 70% consolidation, meaning that, wow, there's a lot of the work goes through a consolidator, either an MSO or a franchisor. That's the reality is. I mean, just to give you an idea, in the US, I mean, we're probably at 25% now, and they're pretty excited about that. They think that it's a big number. Okay, so here we're way ahead of that. We are way ahead in terms of how the market is structured and operates. So as you can see, 60% of the total sales are going to 750 shops. There are 4,800 shops across the country. Okay, there's 750 shops that are doing 60% of the total sales. Okay, so when we average them out, the 4,800 shops, I mean, they average $500,000 in sales per year. Okay, but when we look at those 750 shops, their sales are much, much higher than that. Okay, so that's a little bit of where we're going. When we're talking about consolidation, this is exactly what we're seeing. So the work tends to go at very specific places. Vehicle construction. I mean, the vehicle construction has changed and it keeps changing, and I don't think that it ever going to stop. The use of aluminum, the use of different alloys. I mean, there's steel, but right now, I mean, there's probably 20, 30 different type of steels now on cars. It's the same thing with aluminum, and we're looking at magnesium, at chromium, and there's a lot of things that the industry is doing that that keeps changing all the time, and is really a challenge for the repairers. High performance composites, I mean, carbon fiber being obviously one of them. New assembly techniques, I mean, just the picture that you have there, I mean, you have steel, you have carbon fiber, and you have aluminum on the same structure. Okay, and where we don't even have the cosmetic outside panels, but there's a lot of that right now on the road. Connected car, collision avoidance. Okay, that is, wow, I mean, I can be here and I can start my car, with my phone now. And my car is in Philadelphia. Okay, that's true. This is now. I mean, you see the ads on TV with the Ford Fusion. They all have this now. They're doing all the Buicks the same. The guy's on the beach and he's locking the car. That's true. This is and these are not high-end cars. I mean, these are mass production cars. So how about, and that was the discussion that was brought in Montreal, what about the schools? I mean, how do they keep up with all this? I mean, that's not easy for the repairers to keep up. It's difficult. Sometimes we get to face the problem when it's right there in the shop. We didn't see it coming. It's there. We need to repair it, and whoa, what is this? So, but how the schools are keeping up with that? What's their program? Is it meeting the demand? I mean, if we can talk about a product coming out of the school, I mean, that's their students, but if the students coming out of the schools, are they up to what we need as an industry in terms of workforce? Do they have the proper equipment? Do the school have the proper technology or the proper equipment? I mean, this is expensive for a shop. This is expensive for a school too, because if they need to have this equipment as well. So those numbers are talking to us. They're telling us something here. So what was done is that one of the things that I did in preparation for this meeting in Montreal is that I reached out to trade schools across the country with 7 questions, I believe, 6 questions, and I asked those questions, and I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to share the response. And at no point in time this is I mean, these are the answers that I got, and there was some comments with that I'm necessarily not sharing, for the purpose of time and for the purpose of the presentation as well. But that it's just to bring something up for discussion. So it's at no point it's to point fingers or to say, no, this is true, this is not true, but I just want to share those with you as well. So the first question was, according to you, is there a gap between what is taught in schools, in trade schools, versus the work done in repair shops? So are we aligned a little bit to what is taught versus what is required or what is needed? So the answer that I got overall from everybody that responded was yes. Second question was, do you feel the collision repair curriculum covers all aspects, skills, and abilities required for the trade? So I had yes, and I had no's as well, and I had no. So these are the instructor talking to us. Do you have all the necessary tools, equipment, and educational material to allow you to provide students with the training that meets current industry needs? So you have the tool, the equipment, and the material. So the answer was no, and I would have guessed that one. Pretty easy. Are you able to maintain an acceptable level of knowledge to be able to keep up with technology? So there's kind of three different answers here. So are you asking the instructors, are you able to keep up with the technology yourself to educate yourself? If not, what's keeping you from doing it? And if yes, how do you do it? So it's difficult to keep up with the technology. It's difficult for us, it's difficult for repairers, it's difficult for instructors. It makes sense to me. What's keeping them from keeping up? Sometimes most of the time it's the budget. They don't have a very fat budget. Definitely not for development. I've been through that. I know exactly how it works. I mean, they don't get a lot of resources to educate themselves and to keep up with the technology. So how do you do it? We see instructors. There's probably some here in the room, and we see them at NACE, we see them at SEMA. It's all on their own. Most of the time they do it on their own time, they do it on their own money. Fifth question was, upon completing their training in collision repair, do you believe that the new graduates have the skills required to work in the industry? The answer was yes. Sixth question was, does the training curriculum cover the teaching of concepts such as time management, repair planning, and principles of lean optimized management? The answer was no. So I'm sharing that today, and the purpose of, and that led to a question that was asked at the end of the presentation in Montreal, and here's the question: is that, do you believe the industry should contribute more to the development of training programs and the development of teachers? So that's what we had in terms of answers. And that explains why I'm back here today. So, now what? Okay, now what do we do? Because that is, and first of all, that's not Patrice's initiative here. That's the CCIF initiative. This is what we're doing. That's why I'm here. I'm kind of the spokesperson here for that topic. So if that makes sense, we want to continue to work on that project. So that's why today, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to ask you a question, and the answer is going to be very important for us to know if we should be continuing that or if we just stop and think about something else. So we need a plan, and I'm going to give you some insights around about this plan in a few slides. But we need a plan, scope, we need goals, we need objectives, we need to structure ourselves if we want to get involved. At some point, we'll definitely need some dedicated volunteers. I mean, we will need help. And why are we doing this? We are doing this because we want to be part of the solution. Shouldn't we as an industry be part of the solution? We cannot just point fingers and say, yeah, no, those guys coming out of the schools are not good. I mean, if that's the situation we're in, at some point we're responsible for that as well. That's our industry. So where it's across the country, if you look at the way it is now, and if we go back to the numbers about how the business is, with 750 shops and franchises across the country, they have SOPs. They run the same SOPs here in BC that they run in Newfoundland and they run in Ontario. So the cars are being repaired the same. So it makes sense that we're looking at it into from a nationwide perspective. When? Well, we're starting now. I mean, I'm here. I mean, we're talking about it right now. So how do we do that? I mean, we need to do that by proactively doing our part, and that's it. So I think we need to recognize what we can do, and we do it, and we will leave the professionals do what, their own part. So a little note here that I want to point. So the objective of this is, and sorry, I'll just read it the way it is, but the objective of this initiative is to engage the collision repair industry through the CCIF in collaborating in the recruitment, development, and retention of its workforce for the future. It's not to criticize on the actual situation or paint a negative picture of what the education system is right now. That's not what we're doing. Okay, that's totally useless to look what it is or if we like or if we don't. It's what we can do here as an industry if we think this situation should be improved, is what do we do to make it better? So this industry is unique the way it is, with all the players involved and the way it's structured now, with all the consolidation. It's pretty unique in terms of model. It's hard to find other industries that operate that the same way. So we need to create a work group, and we need to lead this project, and we will report on progress at all the CCIF and all the sessions. We are going to report on the progress the same way that we're doing it with the FNOL, same way. That's a CCIF project. We will contribute to the development of our workforce. As an industry, it is important that we contribute to that. Okay, we're not. Again, I mean, it has to be very positive. We will collaborate with education professionals in a constructive and efficient way. I mean, we're not going to go in classroom and tell them how to do their job. They're way better than us at doing this. Okay, that's their job. Okay, so we do ours, they do theirs. We work together to make sure that what we have is what we need. So basically, it's to do our part. So again, that's a question of trying to point fingers or anything. So here's the plan. So here's the purpose. So the purpose is to provide the collision repair industry with highly engaged entry-level workforce possessing basic skills required to perform a defined role in safe, professional, and efficient manner. This will allow a platform to further develop trade-sensitive skills through continued education that are directed to meet the requirements set by today's collision repair industry. So that's difficult for me, especially when you're French trying to read all this in one shot. That's tough. But there are important words here that we got here. Is that skills to perform defined roles. These are key words in that phrase. Continued education is also, key words here. Knowledge is not a finality. When you learn something, you're just keeping up with the rest of the world. You're not getting smarter. You're just keeping up because everybody else around you is learning something new. Okay, it's just normal to continue to learn as we progress. Everybody here, every successful person, business-wise or skills-wise, or athletes, will tell you that they keep going all the time. They keep learning, they keep doing things. This is how they keep up with everybody else. So, and that's what I see here in that statement. So the scope is to provide education bodies with clear descriptions of the collision industry roles and skills required for each of these roles to ensure safe, professional, and efficient repair. So there's three different avenues that we want to look at to reach, the purpose and to reach the goal and the objective that we just saw. The first one is again, it's to look at the roles that we have in the body shop. If I go back to the first slide when I was sharing the size of the shops, this obviously it has changed a little bit because shops, if there's less shop doing more work, obviously they're getting bigger. Okay, so there are roles in that shop that have changed. So, typical body repair technician, structural repair technician, this is typical, we know those roles. Surface preparation, of course, we all have that in our shops. We all have painters. Detailing, we all have one guy is sharing this role with somebody else, but we have detailing We even have probably a mechanic right now to take care of all the scans and to take care of all the wheel alignments and to take care of, the remove and install mechanical components. But we also have repair planners now because there's a lot more work. I mean, we need to worry about the flow. We're worrying about cycle time. So we need people that, we call them non-productive, but they are there and they need they're making the shop operate. We have estimators now. I mean, we've always had estimators, but we probably have one or two. We have production managers. We have customer service. And now I'm missing parts manager. I'm missing probably a PDR guy. I'm probably a controller, or there's other things that I may be missing. So depending on the size of the shop, I mean, there are all those different roles. These are all needs that we need. Okay, we need role descriptions. We need in-depth role descriptions for all of those roles, so we can provide to the school and say, okay, wow, this is the kind of things that we need. This is exactly what we need now. And then we can let them, make sure that they have a program that can fill this need. The second one is to support the development of the instructors. Okay, we need as an industry to make sure that we support them. We cannot let them being on their own and try to get bits and pieces of information. I mean, if we want them to have a positive influence and really educate our workforce of the future, I mean, they need to be very knowledgeable and they need to have access to these things. So we need to provide development opportunities for them. Okay, would it be possible just to let them come in and shadow one of our employee or shadow different employees for a week or two in our shop, so they really every year they connect with what's happening in the shop, the real world, like we like to call it? Why not? Align on standard operating procedures. I mean, we all work out of SOPs now. We all work on a very defined, because those roles are very defined now. I mean, we all have specific operations that we do in a very specific way. I mean, we need to align with those operating procedures. We need to make sure that we agree on industry's best practices. Networking, keeping them close to us, helping them and learning from them as well. Share industry latest trends. They're usually pretty well-connected people, so we need to connect with them, and at the same time, we need to share with them as well. Align on performance standards and quality standards. Maintain industry experience, share new tools and equipment, and so much more. I mean, there's a lot more that we can do, but I think that's something that we definitely need to focus on and help them develop. Just to give you an example, every year we provide an entire week of free training to all the trade instructors across the country. Every year, we've been doing that for 4 years. There's only a few that show up every year. And the reason is that they cannot they cannot afford the flight, or the hotel, or the school board does not have a budget to get them to Montreal to do it. Okay, the rest of the week, we take care of that. That's an opportunity, but they don't have the budget to fly, or they don't have the budget for the hotel. So only a few showing up. That's wrong. That's wrong. And the third one is to develop an internship program in the spirit of cultivating a creative, sustainable employment program focused on retention strategies intended to attract best-in-class apprentices and provide a clear path to successful career. So we need to attract new talent. We know that. Okay, the skills are changing. The basic skills that we need now they are changing because of the vehicle construction is dictating the skills that we need. So because everything continues to improve, the skills change, of course. And we need to keep them in the industry. We need to provide them a very clear and successful career path. So to me, it's beyond a shiny flyer that we say, okay, great, we have a great industry. We really need to provide them something that is that makes sense. Okay, because those people sometimes they will attend career fair with their parents because they're young and everything. So you're not selling the student. You're most of the time you're selling the parent, and the parent wants to see something that he can rely on. He wants to see something that has a clear structure because that's the future of his son or his daughter. Okay, so I believe that's very important that we focus on this. So again, there's these three things that we want to focus on, and that's a little bit of the plan that we put together that we're sharing with you now, and basically that is leading us to the ultimate question here is okay. So now, do you agree with the path forward and the scope that I just shared with you for the collision industry through the CCIF to contribute to the development of training programs and to the development of teachers? So you can just grab your little remote here and let us know what you think. That would be very helpful. But again, I mean, that is important because the answer that we get today here is telling us if we should be continuing to do that or if we should just be concentrating on something else. I'll take that as a yes. Thank you. Thank you.